And gentlemen, boys and girls, it's me, yours truly, the one and only Ricky, and I am here with you at P-Stars Radio. This morning, the time is now 10:37 a.m. And as per usual, I'm happy to be with you here this morning. Let me know, are you happy to be here with me? Because as you already know, I'm happy to be here with you. I love being here. I love giving you all the juicy information that I have regarding sports, because who doesn't like sports, right? I love sports. Excuse me, mostly basketball. For those of you who don't know, but hey, I'm getting into football, right? I'm getting into football. I'm getting into soccer, tennis. I'm even taking a little bit of a deep dive into golf too, because I want to get familiar, right, with all of these sports. I want to get, as much knowledge and information as I can about each and every single sport, because I think personally, for me, sport is just a beautiful thing. Sport is really beautiful. The competition, the grind, the goal to reach to become the best at your craft, the best at your sport. It's a fun experience because it's just different. The intensity, it's all different. Those of you that play sports, whether you play professionally or you just play just for fun, those of you who know, what I'm talking about. It's very fun. It's very it gets you energetic and excited too, because we all need a little bit of activeness in our lives, right? You want to be active, you want to be healthy. But again, most importantly, we just want to have fun. I know I do. All right. So, yeah, as per usual, I would like to start off with asking all of the viewers that are watching. I am live on YouTube and Facebook at the moment. So, as per usual, I want to ask you, how are you doing so far? How's your weekend been? What have you been up to? What were your plans, or what are your plans for this upcoming week? Mm-hmm. Because granted, we have just now stepped into March. We have officially stepped into a new month, March. And so I want to know, how's everything going for you guys so far? Is everything okay? Is everything doing good so far? Again, are you taking care of your mental, spiritual, and physical health? Are you taking care of these things? Because I truly hope and I truly encourage you, if not, to take care of these three things, because these three things are the most important, or should be the most important to you, because these things will not be important to anybody else. These are things that, apply to you and to you alone, your mental, spiritual, and your physical health. And these are things that you should very much so be taking care of, right? We don't want to let ourselves crash out, because it's understandable that through our daily lives we go through enough stress, enough challenges, enough worries, and we build up this kind of anxiety within ourselves, to the point where there are some of us who just doesn't talk about it with anybody. We keep these things all bottled up into ourselves until we reach our breaking point, and then we just, boom, explode, right? We want to make sure we don't reach that point and we don't get to that point. So again, take all the necessary steps that are available and provided to you to, again, take care of yourself as much as possible to the best of your ability, okay? So again, the solutions that I have for you, the number one best solution that I always like to offer to all the viewers that are watching. The number one and best solution that I have for you to take care of these things and to manage these things is one, to go to God in prayer. Go to him in prayer. Excuse me. Go to him in prayer. Lay it all down at his feet and pray. Talk to him. He's available. He's there to listen to you. He knows how you feel. He knows what you're feeling when nobody else does. And just go to him in prayer, right? Talk to him. Tell him all of your worries. Tell him all of your frustrations, all of your desires, all of your, happy thoughts, sad thoughts, whatever the case may be. Talk to God in prayer, and you will feel a sense of peace, in the midst of you praying, because throughout our daily lives, there may be no other avenues that we can find to have that kind of peace within ourselves, but with God and in prayer, it's a different kind of feeling. I'm trying to tell you, it's a different kind of feeling. You feel a little bit of sense of peace afterwards because you just let everything out, right? You didn't keep any emotions bottled up inside, but you decided to let it all out. And most importantly, you gave it to God. And when you give it to God and when you let him take control and leave him in control of your emotions, of the situation that you're going through, he will always come through. Especially at the right time too. God will always come through for you. Because for me, he's never too early, he's never too late, but he's always on time. All right. So that's one of the solutions I have for you. Another solution is, for those of you it may help, seek therapy, right? Talk to somebody, a friend, a family member, but make sure that person that you're talking to is someone that you can trust. Because you always want to make sure that you're talking to somebody who you can trust, so that they don't give out your business or spread out your business to the entire community. Because everybody has that one person that when you talk about something with them, they broadcast it live to the entire community, the entire world, and everybody now knows your business, right? So be sure to find that one person, all right? Be sure to find that one person who you can trust, that you can talk to about your situation, talk to about your worries, anxieties, whatever the case may be, all right? Other solutions could be to work out, exercise, read a book, meditate, so on and so forth, all right? So please, again, take your mental health, your physical and your spiritual health very seriously, because if nobody's told you this already, I care about you, and I want you to also care about yourself as well, all right? So, So moving on, I did bring up last Saturday, that we will be going into soccer, more specifically the FIFA World Cup, the 2025 FIFA World Cup, right? Because I want to dive into a little bit of a new kind of sport too, right? I don't want to just simply stick to basketball and football, because I'm a man of my word and I keep my promises, and I'm coming here to deliver, right? So for all my soccer friends out there, this one's for you. We are now getting prepared to set the stage for the FIFA World Cup, maybe the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. And you have each and every single respective team who is going to be participating in this event come June 14th. That is when the first matchup will begin, June 14th, all the way till July. I'm not exactly sure what day in July, but it will be starting from June 14th all the way till July until we reach the finals of the FIFA World Cup, right? So we have 32 teams that will be participating in this year's 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. And I'm going to be going deep into the format of how this event will be set up. I'm sure the format that I'm about to give you isn't very much so different from the format that they've taken, for the past couple of years with the FIFA World Cup. So, right, they should be fairly the same, in format wise, the setup wise. So it looks like they will have 8 let me just get more specific with this. Okay, so there will be groups. There will be groups for the FIFA World Cup, and the groups are going to be Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, all the way to Group H. So that's going to be the format, right? And each of these groups will have their respective teams that will be going up against each other in this format. In should I say knockout rounds, okay? So these knockout rounds will be these individual groups with their respective teams in them going up against each other in knockout rounds until they eventually reach up to the semifinals, going into the finals of the FIFA World Cup to see which last two teams will be standing to go up against each other for this year's World Cup. Now, again, there's going to be groups A, Group B, C, D, E, F, G, and then H. These are your respective groups, and then they name all of the teams that are going to be going up against each other. Let me see if I can name some of them for you. I don't want to butcher any of the names, but I'll try anyways to see if I can get them right. So we have Palmeiras, Porto, Al Ahly, and Inter Miami for Group A. And then Group B, we have Paris Saint-Germain, Atletico de Madrid, Botafogo, Seattle Sounders for Group B. And then Group C, we have Bayern Munich, Auckland City, Boca Juniors, and Benfica for Group C. And then for Group D, we have Flamengo, ES Tunis, Chelsea, and then Club Lyon for Group D. And then for Group E, we have River Plate, Urawa Red Diamonds, Monterrey, and then Inter Milan for Group E. And then Group F, we have Fluminense, Borussia Dortmund, Ulsan HDFC, and then Mamelodi Sundowns for Group F. I think I'm butchering these names like crazy, but I'm going to keep going anyways. For Group G, we have Manchester City, Wydad, Al Ain, and Juventus for Group G. And then finally for Group H, we have Real Madrid, Al Hilal, Pachuca, and then FC Salzburg for Group H. So these are your respective teams for these respective groups who will be taking part in this year's 2025 FIFA World Cup. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the last championship that at least that I'm aware of, the last champion for the last World Cup that I'm aware of was between the two teams of Brazil going up against France. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that matchup happened in 2022. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I got that wrong, but 2022 was a matchup. 2022 or 2023 was a matchup between France and Brazil. And the champions that came out on top between these two teams were Brazil. And during that time, I believe Lionel Messi played for Brazil, which ended up again with Brazil and Lionel beating Mbappe in France. Now, I think this is a well-known fact that, soccer, or should I say football, is one of the most viewed sports in basically the entire globe. Soccer is a very well-known sport that is viewed across the entire globe, across entire nations, and they usually come in with viewership from like a million to like a billion. I think in 2022, the 2022 World Cup final, they had 1.5 billion views, or should I say a 1.5 billion global reach, right? A 1.5 billion global reach, including the USA. Now, the viewership was 25.8 million within the US. But again, it's a reach. It's a viewership reach of 1.5 billion when we're talking about the entire world, which tells you a lot of people love soccer. Now, me personally, I'm not a soccer kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? My skills are not up to par with, even, regular playing soccer folks, right? My skills are not up to par. Granted, it is still an enjoyable sport to watch. Soccer is very, very, how can I say this? It is a very challenging sport because you're just focusing on feet play. You know what I mean? You're focusing on keeping that ball on the ground, and you're using your feet to do all the talking for you. And it's very tough. I've tried it. Again, it's not my style. It's not my forte, but it is still a very enjoyable sport to watch and to play nonetheless. So, yeah, again, the champions last time for the FIFA World Cup was, from my understanding, was Brazil going up against France. And Brazil, again, comes out on top. And so now we're waiting to see for this year who will come out on top as the best team to play this year. And I believe the host, or where these games will be taking place, will be on U.S. ground. And I'm not exactly sure, of all the locations where these games will be taking place. But again, the games for the FIFA World Cup will be taking place on U.S. ground. And so with that being said, to all 32 teams that will be taking, or to all 32 teams that will be participating for this year's FIFA World Cup, I express, good luck. May the best team win. I, for one, will try my best to keep my eye out to see what goes on for each matchup. But again, I do believe the first matchup will be taking place. Should I see again? Yeah, the first matchup will be taking place on Saturday, the 14th of June. Again, the 14th of June, which is a Saturday, will be the first start of the FIFA World Cup, where, again, groups will be going up against each other. So for the first day of the FIFA World Cup matchup, it will be with Group A, which will be Inter Miami, which, by the way, is a team that Lionel Messi is now playing for. So Lionel Messi, after winning with Brazil during the last matchup against France, he has now been, or not now, but recently, he has now joined the Inter Miami and playing for them. And so that will be the first matchup for this year's FIFA World Cup, again, which will be taking place on the 14th of June, which is a Saturday. And it will be happening between Inter Miami and Al Ahly. Again, I'm probably butchering the name here, but Al Ahly will be going up against Inter Miami in Miami at 8 p.m. I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't know. I want to go to my very first soccer game. And since this is happening in Miami, who knows what will happen? But only God does. But again, yes, this is the first game, first matchup. And so keep an eye out for that. And then after that, we have all the rest of the games that will be taking place after that as well. So I, for one, am excited. I cannot wait to see who comes out on top for this matchup, but that's what it's looking like so far. And then moving on, I'm going to go back into the NBA real quick and then give you all of the rankings as of, Rookie of the Year and MVP ladder. Now, granted, the season is not over for the NBA. We still have a couple of months or we still have, I think, 1 month until we get into the playoff series for the NBA, going into the finals. So we still have a ways to go before we can announce this year's NBA Rookie of the Year and MVP of the Year and Sixth-Man Player of the Year, so on and so forth. So for now, the ladder rankings for this year's Kia Rookie of the Year: Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs now currently sits on the top as number 1. And the stats for him so far is 12.5 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game, and then 3.4 assists per game. He's now sitting at the number 1 seat. And remember, this is the number 4 draft pick for the NBA. So that's who's sitting on number 1. And then number 2, we have Jalen Wells of the Memphis Grizzlies. Now his stats so far is going to be 11.4 points per game, 3.2 rebounds per game, and then 1.6 assists per game. He's sitting at number 2, but it should be number 3. But that's what his stats look like so far for Jalen Wells. And then again, we have Zach Edey from the same team, from the Memphis Grizzlies, who's sitting at 9.1 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, and then 1.2 blocks per game. And this is a tall, I believe, a 7'4", almost standing side by side with Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs. But that is Zach Edey's season stats for this year, and he's sitting currently at the number 3, either number 3 or number 2. It's between those two. But number 3 and number 2 is Zach Edey and Jalen Wells of the Memphis Grizzlies. And he was drafted number 9 in the overall pick for this year's NBA. So these are the top 3. The top 3 so far for who is the front runner for this year's Rookie of the Year award. Now, granted, again, the year is not over. These things can change. You know, for all we know, Dalton Connect can come back on top for number 1, right? Or Jalen Wells can go on top for number 1. Or Zach Edey can go out on top for number 1. These things can change. Again, the season is not over, but we will just have to wait, anticipate, and see who will come out on top as this year's Rookie of the Year. And now moving on to the MVP ladder. This is going to be a little bit different for me, or not different, interesting for me, because, you know, Nikola Jokic is still sitting in the same spot, the same position as he has been the last couple of years now. The last couple of years, he's still sitting in the same spot, being at least the top 5 picks for the MVP awards. Because again, this man is truly, truly talented, but he's still sitting there at number 1. So number 1 for MVP, we have Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, sitting at the number 1 spot. His season stats so far is 29.2 points per game, 12.6 rebounds per game, and 10.4 assists per game. Mind you, this guy's coming in with triple-doubles almost every night. That's how talented Nikola Jokic is. But that's his stats so far, sitting at number 1. And the number 2, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, who plays for the Oklahoma City Thunders, who's sitting at the number 2 spot for the MVP. And now his season stats so far is going to be 32.4 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, and then 6.2 assists per game. Again, another talented player playing alongside or playing for the OKC Thunders. I'm putting my chips out on him. Again, a young guy, a young player doing this thing. I want to see this guy take MVP this year because, again, Nikola Jokic gets it almost every year, right? And granted, it's well-deserved. I get it. But I want to see somebody new come out on top and take this year's NBA MVP award. That's just me. I'm putting my chips out on the table for this guy. But then we have the number 3 pick, or the number 3 spot, which is Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Again, Jason Tatum has the number 3 spot for the MVP awards, and his season stats are going to be 26.6 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game, and 5.8 assists per game. So these are your top 3 runners for this year's MVP award. Again, I hope, or I wish to see Shea get this one for this year, but who knows? Time will tell. The season is not over yet. Again, these things can change throughout the season. We're in March right now, so April, May. We still have 2 months left until we reach the end of the season, and we're getting closer and closer to the NBA playoffs, which will eventually lead to the NBA Finals. But until then, we'll have to wait and see who will come out on top for this year's MVP award, Rookie of the Year award, six-man player of the year award, and so on and so forth. All right, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I am above time as of now, so I will go into the verse of the day. And the verse of the day will be coming from Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 7. Again, this verse that we will be going into for today will be coming from, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 7. Allow me to read for you. So it reads, "The Lord will grant that the enemy who rise up against you will be defeated before you. They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in 7. Allow me to read this verse for you one more time. And it reads, "The Lord will grant that the enemy who rise up against you will be defeated before you. They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in 7. So I want everybody that's watching to understand that as Christians, we will have enemies, right? As Christians, we will have people that will go against us, that will hate us for a lot of the times no reason. There could be times where you're trying to teach somebody new about God, show somebody what God has done for your life and what God can do for their lives. And a lot of times people people that are like Christians, people like us who walk as Christians and live as Christians, a lot of the times we are met with hate, right? We are met with a lot of hate, a lot of contempt from people. And it's unfortunate, right? Because you're trying to do the best you can to try to teach other people about God, show other people who God is to you and what he's done for you and what he can do for that person as well. And a lot of times people are just not trying to hear it. It is what it is. We are still obligated to do what we are supposed to do for God's glory. But at the end of the day, we can only do what we can. We let God control the rest. We let God take care of the rest. You do your part and he does his. But again, we will always be met with, content. Not content. We'll always be met with contempt and hatred from other people. Simply just teaching other people and showing other people who God is and what he can do for them. It's unfortunate. It sucks. But always remember that whoever your enemies are, or whoever the people are that try to hate and try to attack you, understand that they will always be defeated. Why? Because you have God by your side through each and every single aspect or form of your life and whatever it is that you do. God is always standing at your back, defending you, fighting for you. He's fighting the battles that you see, and he's fighting the battles that you don't see. Remember that. God is fighting the battles for you that you can see, and he's fighting the battles for you that you also cannot see. So never worry yourself. Never, overwhelm yourself with all the hate that you're going to get. Remember, the people that hate you because of what you do, they hated God first. The people that hate you for what you're doing for him, for his name's sake, they hated him first. So never be afraid, never fear, never fret, never overwhelm yourself with a lot of worry, because again, God is there to fight for you and he's there to defend you in every aspect of your life, okay? How am I going to put this? Pour tout le monde qui a servi bon Dieu, continuez faire travail bon Dieu. Pas faire ça mon abdi, pas faire ça mon affaire, parce que des fois pour moi expliquer parole bon Dieu, hein, yo ka rayu, yo ka gen l'esprit qui ka fait bouleverser, parce que travail ça va faire pour bon Dieu, Satan n'est pas besoin de faire. So continuez faire ça à faire, OK? Continuez faire, pas décourager. Continuez compter sur bon Dieu, parce que bon Dieu est toujours là il est toujours là avec. La continuer défendre bon Dieu la point défense pour, parce que pas oublier c'est lui même qui bon Dieu c'est avocat pour lui, c'est moun qui protéger, lui c'est moun qui défendre devant tout ennemi qui camper sous, qui camper dans route pour qui bloquer. Continuer compter sur bon Dieu. Quoi ça la fait pour, parce que pas rien qui est impossible pour bon Dieu. Nous tous connaissons ça déjà, nous tous connaissons par ça déjà. Bon Dieu qui a fait toute bagaille pour nous, pas rien les pas qu'à faire. So continuez travail pour bon Dieu, continuez quoi sous lui, et puis bon Dieu a béni pour ça, la béni ou même, et puis la béni toute famille aussi, okay? So again, don't be afraid. Do not overwhelm yourself. God is there. He will always be there to defend you and fight for you in all of your battles, okay? So again, the verse is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 7. Study it, read it, harp on it, meditate on it. Do whatever you will with it, okay? I love you guys, and I'll meet you guys back here again around the same time, 10:30. And as always, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys then. All right? Bye.